look, Daniel Dubois can come again. He can come again. But last night I was very, I was not, I was not shocked. But you don't fighters go out on that. You get in that ring. People know what it's like to walk in that ring, and who fights and know what it takes to get inside them ropes. So I'm never going to criticise a man if he was seriously injured or whatever has he done. But get carried out the ring, brother. Get carried out the ring. It's not all give knocking people unconscious and then your eye goes and then you want to get out. I've got all the time in the world for Triple D, and he can come again, but it's going to take a long road back from that. So,
what's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So we just heard there from Billy Ho Saunders. I kid you not, yeah. As I was listening to it, writing down my notes, so I know what I need to analyse, I was cracking up. The way he says it, and this is why I rate Billy Ho to an extent. This is why he has a following. This is why he's not like a Callum Smith or whatever. Callum Smith or whoever else, Rocky Fielding, they weren't doing the big events that Alvarez and Billy Joe did. Bottom line. They wouldn't have, I'm not sure they would have sold out 80,000. Or either way, my point is, Eddie Hearn said it was a blockbuster event, relatively speaking. And it was. We can sit here and lie to ourselves. Billy Ho did the McGregor effect well. And what McGregor and Billy Ho did well until they obviously lost is that they're unbeaten and they inspire, and at the point in time they believe it themselves. They have this pure confidence, and the way that Billy Ho is saying this to Daniel Dubois, again, that's how he got his following. That's why people liked him. Oh, Billy Ho is so real. It's not fake. We've heard people before. I'm trying to think of some names. What's that idiot called? Not Prince Nassim, the one before, the one that's around now knocking about, idiot. Yeah, there's, them ones there. There's a few idiots, yeah, who just, you can tell they're just doing it for shock factor. They don't get no following. The ones who get following are the ones who have a big mouth and it's believable. They're not just being loud and obnoxious for the sake of it. A bit like, in a way, Ohara Davis. Ohara Davis, big mouth, good for nothing. Big for nothing. Yeah? And the thing is with OD as well, he got exposed early. His voice might have got him somewhere if he hadn't got murked by the JT. Anyway, listen. Billy Ho has built a relatively strong following on the belief in his voice. Even people who don't like Billy, we was all interested, myself included, to see, is it real or is it not? You don't know. Until it's tested, you just don't know. And a lot of neutral fans put money on Billy Ho, thinking, well, there's no way this is not real. They've got Tyson Fury in their mind. Well, look what Fury did to Vlad. Etc, etc. Anyway, so now we've given that background. Billy Ho is talking about Daniel Dubois. And again, the reason I started laughing was, looking back now, at the time, hearing this, I would have been riding Billy Ho, saying, you know what, Billy, you're damn right. And in fact, if I was doing YouTube at the time, I'd have been posting videos and said, you know what, Billy, you're damn right there. Because even though at that point in time, 10 months ago or whenever it was, I still believed Billy Ho's resume wasn't strong, I believed, or at least as much as it's worth, I believed his word. I did genuinely think he'd stay in there. Because, you know me, I like to give people one chance. I give everyone one chance. If you say you're really that gritty, I'll give you one for free. You get the first one for free. You get the first one for free. Your boy Billy. And it's not even just you get the first one for free. It's also the fact that if you're talking that gritty and that, he believed, like the way he says it. The way he says it. Just get carried out the ring, brother. Just get carried out the ring, brother. Like, he ain't joking. At that point in time, he genuinely thought he was that greasy. He thought he was that gritty. Yeah? And let's walk through what the whole thing he says. He says, DD can come again, but last night I was a bit shocked. And he slaps his chest. He goes, fighters, go spark out. When you walk in them ropes, you know what you're getting into. And he slaps his chest. That real Sparta stuff. Yeah, that real Sparta body language. And he's not being... I think that's his name, Prince Patel. Prince Patel is just over the top. Billy here isn't ranting, he isn't raving. He's having a frank conversation. It's super believable. Like I said, at the time when I heard this, X amount of months ago, I was right. Yeah, you're damn right. I was cheering behind it, 100%. Calling a spade a spade. But that's only good enough if you back it up yourself. Because we can all sit there and pick and point, myself included, but the difference is, the reason I can criticise is that you won't never hear me say, you know what, I'll march forward. If I get my eye bust, I'll march forward anyway. I don't know what I'll do. And we've just heard Demetrius Andrade, he said exactly that. He was having an interview after this fight yesterday, and you could tell the interviewer was trying to get an explosive title, was trying to get him to say, yeah, Billy Ho jacked and Billy Ho quit. He said, listen, honestly, I don't know what I'd do in that situation. So until I've been through that, I don't know what I'd do. And that's what, honestly, if you're not sure, because listen, maybe there are a few, probably 1 in a million people who are really that gangster. In fact, we've seen them on TV before. We've seen the boxers who, no matter what, are in there, no eyes, one eye completely bust, their jaw bust, and they keep going. We've seen it. If you are one of them dudes, fair play to you. Hat goes off to you. If you're not, and you talk it, because what you'll notice is a lot of the hardest people, they don't even really give it all the yammer either. They're not out here criticising everyone else. But you best believe, if you're going to be criticising everyone else, you got to make sure, you've got to make sure that really is who you are. Because you can't be going out like Billy Ho right now. He looking real bad. This is probably the worst case. Because in this day and age as well, if you've got nothing good to say, don't say it. But the fact Billy Ho came out and roasted Daniel Dubois. Get carried out the ring, brother. And we obviously know that Daniel Dubois is black, so using that brother word, it's almost like he's trying to, you know, the reason I found that funny was, it was almost like Billy Ho was trying to, really communicate to Daniel Dubois. You know what I mean, brother? You know what I'm saying? Like he's really on a level with him, trying to give him a good schooling. That's what you do. If you wasn't sure, Daniel, what you're supposed to do is trying to, you know, that makes sense. It felt to me like Billy Joe was really trying to get on a level with him and reason with him. And if you're going to take that point of view where you're trying to sun someone, get carried out, brother. If you're going to have that kind of attitude where you're telling another man, Daniel Dubois isn't 15 or 14, where Billy Ho's his elder. That's a 22-year-old man who's in a fight with a 300-pound giant in Joe Joyce. He don't need you, obviously now, especially now, but even then, he don't need a 168-pounder to be telling him anything about what to do, brother. But better yet, guess what? If Billy Ho had been in there at the weekend and proved himself as a warrior, fair play to him. If Billy Ho had gone spark out at the weekend, yeah, everything he said to Daniel Dubois, that would have been a lesson. And even today, if Billy Ho had gone spark out, I wouldn't be doing this video because I couldn't you can't. How could I laugh? How could you criticise what Billy Ho's saying if he stood by it? All Billy Ho isn't saying you can't lose. He's saying if you lose, you go out sparko. And I agree with that. If that's what you're going to talk about. Yeah, no doubt. Billy Ho gave tried to lecture and school another man in his own right, and when it came to his turn, in my opinion, Billy Ho actually had less minerals than Daniel Dubois did. Daniel Dubois got pounded on several times over several rounds by a heavier man, and he went back out and back out and back out. And by the way, he was winning and also Daniel Dubois was winning none of the rounds. Allegedly, Billy Joe Saunders was up, or some people had it even. So he was essentially steering the fight. Even his trainer, Mark Tibbs, said, I was frustrated. I thought that we could have built. If Billy Ho had some more engine in there, we could have started getting off. Let's not forget, historically speaking, Alvarez is known to slow down in the last few rounds. If Billy Joe's meant to be that cardio animal and the dancer and the endurance athlete, then he should have been coming on in the last few rounds. As that may have explained Mark Tibbs' frustration. Never mind that. Never mind one more round. He got hit in the ninth, in the 8th, and he was out of there in the 8th. I mean, there was no pushing through. There was no again and again and again. Daniel Dubois got plastered again and again and again in the same spot. People was criticising his head movement. Well, if you don't move your head. Billy Ho's supposed to have the head movement. Where was the head movement in the 9th round? Why wasn't he going out and showing it? You know what? I'm injured, but I'm going to go out here and I'm going to show Daniel Dubois how to move your head. Because you're meant to be the trickster. Oh, he's tricky. Oh, he's like Mayweather, they said. Oh, you know, Billy Joe, he's like the Mayweather. He's the British Mayweather. But yeah, he's the British Mayweather, but he's harder because he's the warrior. And he's got 400 years of bare-knuckle champions behind him. He talked it out. He dished it out. And also, not just him, but everyone else, when AJ had his situation. Everyone seems to have loads of things to say, but it's really weird in terms of the British public. Daniel Dubois, Wilder, AJ, all these big black men go down. Oh, he quit. Yeah, no, he jacked. Billy Ho. No, his eye got 3 things on it, and his eye got 3 scratches, and all of a sudden, everyone wants to jump to his defence. Yeah? If you jack, you jack. Let's be consistent. Especially when AJ's never called no one out. Daniel Dubois never called no one out and talked about how much of a warrior he is or isn't. Daniel Dubois hasn't. Wilder's full of rubbish, so scratch him off. But AJ and Dubois never come out and lambasted anyone. And to be honest, I think probably Wilder has actually, but either way, Dubois and AJ have never lambasted anyone for not being a warrior. Yeah? Billy Ho's been doing the most, but even so, British fans, or not all of them obviously, but certain percentage of fans just riding him. Oh, and that's the thing. I've heard people even say Billy's a better example of not quitting than Daniel Dubois is. He got hit in one round and he was out the same round. Billy Ho dealt with an injury for 90 seconds, and I'm not even sure he got hit on it again. He was out of there. No pushing through, no one more round, no let me give it a go, no, better yet, no. Go out on your back, brother. Where was that? Where was the slapping your chest and going out on your back, brother? And even in the fight, Billy Ho was taunting Alvarez. How can you be taunting 1 minute, get licked, doing what you signed up to do? It wasn't like, oh, well, YB, you know, Alvarez hit him with a metal stick and he wasn't expecting that. You signed up for this, as you like to school Daniel Dubois on. You got hit with a shot you knew was... That's the game you're playing. Like you said to Dan, that's the game it is. You got hit with a shot in the game you knew you was playing, and then you wanted out of there. And only minutes earlier you was taunting. What happened to that? Where was the taunting at? You was... At that moment, you got clipped on your eye, or wherever it was. That's when you're supposed to bang your chest and say, brother. Isn't it? That's the brother moment. The brother moment isn't when you're sitting at home on your bed, feeling like a big hard ass, giving Dan advice about what you should and shouldn't do because you're a big Spartan TV warrior. And to be honest, I'll be honest with you, listen. Billy Ho is in the same category as me. He's as good as me. Talking and didn't do any of it. What did he do really, innit? He got hit once. Who can't get hit once? Anyone who's been in any kind of fight has been hit once. Innit? Who can't get hit once in Jack? Anyone who's been in any kind of street fight who's been hit before has been in the same situation as Billy. Been hit once, and some people have even lost their lives in them kind of situations. So to make out you're a warrior, he got hit once and he jacked. Who can't do that? That's the bare minimum. Anyone can get hit once and get out of there. Like, so please, someone describe to me how he could have performed worse than that. Explain it. Oh well, YB, he could have not turned up to the fight. Well, guess what? He tried to do that about the ringside after making contradictory statements about, oh, do it in the phone box. No, don't about the phone box. How about doing it in the UK licensed ringside, 20 feet? No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. So, listen. You know what? I'm more or less done on this topic, but I want to get to the last few quotes because I've spent a lot of time on the first part, but it actually gets worse. He goes on to say, so he says, he slaps his chest and says, get carried out the ring, brother. Then he says, it's not all give, KOing people. Which is true, I completely agree with that. We know, historically speaking, most, or a lot of, especially heavyweights, a lot of young heavyweights are good at bowling people over, like Billy Ho says, but they ain't good at taking it. 100% agree. Guess what, Billy Ho? When you was in there with Andy Lee and whoever else, you was good at giving it out too. You was good at giving it out. When it came, and this is the thing, Dubois took a few licks. Dubois didn't take the first one and jump out. Literally, the first lick you took, you was out of there. And do you know how we know it's the first one he took? Because he was taunting from the first round, which means he ain't getting hit that hard. And also, he hadn't actually been put down yet. Hadn't been put down, he's taunting, which means the first real thing that landed was that round. And he hopped out. He wasn't getting pummeled. His body language deteriorated exponentially in that one round. It wasn't oh well, look. I was actually criticising Alvarez, saying he's not really putting the work in. So was Carl Froch. Completely agree. He's not really working enough. He's putting one or two together, but it's difficult to get people out there with one or two. Next thing you know, Alvarez carries on doing what he's doing, hits him with one, and he's out of there. Wow. Mr. It's not all giving it out, gets hit with one bang, and he wants to hop out. After you lectured everyone else about how it's not about knocking people about. It's amazing. The hypocrisy is amazing, and the fact that fans want to defend it. This isn't what I've said. This isn't a case of, oh, well, he just, you know what, his eye was hurt. No one ain't disputing that, but he was lecturing and schooling another man. Big Daniel, who's younger, you're sitting there lecturing him like you're some big warrior, and you yourself jacked at the first sign of danger. You was out of there, Mr. Big Bare Knuckle Warrior, all the way out. You didn't want no more. Mark Tibbs was begging you. Billy, can you give me one more round? Nope. I'm out. And then finally he says, and this one got me as well, the arrogance of it. Not even arrogance, the sheer, I'm not sure what you'd call it, but the sheer, whatever that thing I'm thinking of, it was almost arrogance. It's going to take a long, going to take a long, that's muggy, isn't it? That's muggy. Dan's just had a nightmare of a time. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not sitting there saying Dan's perfect. I gave Dan his licks as well, but there's levels to this game. Yeah, Dan weren't lecturing no one. Dan weren't claiming he's some big warrior. You're out here talking, it's going to take a long, taking that there, in my opinion, is taking the piss. You were taking the piss out of Dan then. Oh, long, he was gone on for ages. You could have said, listen, Dan, it's going to take you a while to come back, but you will. That's what a fair thing would be to say. Not, it's going to take a long. You was just going extra, just mugging him off. You was trying to get off all over him, essentially. And now look at you. You're finished. If that, listen, in terms of relative speaking, if Dan is going to take a long time, you are next to finished. Yeah, that's the equivalences here. No doubt.